so we're back for another ilang-ilang comparison video, and today we will be comparing your typical Madagascar ilang-ilang, and this is a special one. This is from Plant Therapy, and it's called Cananga Odorata var Macrophylla, which is a dwarf ilang-ilang. And this is also sourced from, I would think, let me double check. I would think it's from Madagascar because we don't really cultivate that kind of ilang-ilang here. So let me check. Plant Therapy Macrophylla. Okay, good. So again, as confirmed from Plant Therapy, this is sourced from either Indonesia or Madagascar. Again, we don't really grow dwarf ilang-ilang here. We have our own Philippine ilang-ilang. So if you want to get to know more about these two oils and how they compare to each other, then please keep on watching. I always get so excited comparing ilang-ilang oils, or any oils for that matter. But today we have two ilang-ilang distillation from Madagascar, so it's a good point of comparison. They're of the same origin, but they're from different ilang-ilang variety. This is your typical ilang-ilang. The difference is that the typical ilang-ilang would have thinner, stringier petals. I will show it here. And this one, the Macrophylla variety, is the dwarf ilang-ilang, which would look like this. So it's a little bit different. The regular ilang-ilang or the Philippine ilang-ilang would be more fragrant. It's more sweet, heady, sensual, and all of those beautiful, glorious stuff about ilang-ilang. That's the typical one. And the dwarf variety looks more photogenic, I would say. Great on pictures, but the smell is not that fragrant. The smell is not that sweet. So if you're into that sweet, beautiful, sensual, feminine kind of scent, then go after the typical ilang-ilang or the Philippine ilang-ilang or the plain Cananga Odorata. So let's compare the two. I will sniff this first because I feel that if I choose this first, I will not be able to smell this. And that's unfortunate. Okay? Both of them are from Madagascar as confirmed through the literature of plant therapy. It's floral. You can sense the floral side of it, but it's very, very toned down. There's no sweetness. Very, very there's no sweetness at all, honestly. Wow. It's very vibrant. It's very floral. Again, after you've sniffed this, you can hardly detect this. This would just be overshadowed completely after this. And as expected, we've tried this experiment with my colleague. This would be overshadowed. And I've also consulted with our local distiller here in the Philippines because I told him, hey, you know what? I found an essential oil distilled from the dwarf variety. Have you ever tried that? So he told me that it's actually harder to distill from the dwarf variety as you need 3 more flowers. The ratio is 3:1. So you would need 3 more volume of plant material to distill the same amount of essential oils versus when you're just distilling the plain Cananga Odorata. And you can just imagine, you would need 3 times more of the plant material, yet it doesn't really have that sweet floral dimension. Right now, it doesn't smell to me as anything anymore. It smells like plain floral, sort of reminiscent of temples, but it's not sweet. It's not sweet at all. So I don't know, maybe for those of you who are not into the sweet, you know, intoxicatingly sweet ilang-ilang, probably you'd grab this. I haven't met anyone to tell me they actually like this. If you do and you've tried this, please comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think. But so far, for a Filipino who has smelled real Filipino ilang-ilang, this is so far off from what we know. This is okay, you know, it's sweet, it smells like your typical ilang-ilang, But again, in my previous video, I've compared this with our Philippine Ylang Ylang, and you know how that went. In case you didn't, in case you haven't seen that video, I'll put it up here, because I've compared this with our Philippine Ylang Ylang. And so yeah, so for today, as usual, I'm all for the normal Cananga Odorata. I guess this is just a point of, I don't know, experimentation. I'm really not sure how plant therapy is positioning this, but according to the literature, it says that they're describing it as sweet and floral, but I can hardly detect the sweetness. So the description is, Cananga is an exotic and sultry essential oil with warm, sweet floral aroma. There's hardly any sweetness here. Even though it's a relative of Ylang Ylang, this floral has a softer, more subtle scent that is fantastic for perfumery. I honestly don't think this is sweet. This is okay for perfumery because I can hardly detect any sweetness. You'd probably pull up Ylang Ylang because you wanted that sweetness to be there, but no, there's no sweetness in here at all. It's floral, yes, but it's not sweet. Okay, so you can use this to promote calmness, soothe nervousness, and create a relaxing environment. I guess you can still get that according to the GCMS. Cananga is also great for helping alleviate sore muscles and joints and supporting healing for small scrapes and bruises. Okay, so since Ylang Ylang is a known, it has known antibacterial properties, you can definitely use this for minor scrapes. And I guess for male users who are not into the sweet side of Ylang Ylang, you can probably use this. In that sense, if you're planning to use this for perfumery, natural perfumery, and you're concocting something for a guy, probably can use this because it doesn't have any of that sweetness at all. So you can play this androgynously. No sweetness at all. Yeah, so if you want to look mysterious and say, I put Ylang Ylang in there, but they can never detect the sweetness because you can't really find it in here, then you can use this. But for your typical Ylang Ylang, sweet, sensual, exotic, sultry smell, just grab the regular Cananga Odorata, and this is from Yuxis. But if you want more of that intense sweetness, you know where to find it. Watch my last video and learn about the Philippine Ylang Ylang. So I guess that's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed this comparison video as I enjoyed making it. And if you have any other requests, don't forget to shoot them down below or slide me a DM. I'd love to hear from you. Alright, so I guess that's all for today. Thank you so much. And I hope you can feel the holiday vibes with my sparkling shimmering tree. And I'll see you on my next essential oil comparison video. Bye!